Hello everyone. Hi. Hey guys. Okay, I'm excited today. I'm gonna be going over cuticle prep. I have a live client here. We're gonna go over some cuticle prep, how I like to use the Z-bits to prep a client to get a nice finish in our final look. Then we'll do a quick little overlay, a quick little fun overlay. Hi everyone. So I think with prep, you can go about it a variety of ways with how you want to start. I like to start with the cutie patootie. I love this bit just to start prep. Oh, let me try to get focused in camera, guys. All right. Sorry. Hi, everyone. So I like to start with the cutie patootie bit because it has the diamond burrs on the top of the surface of the bit. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get that in focus for you. So it's great to kind of exfoliate the skin, the live skin, and also start removing the dead skin on the cuticle plate. So when we use this bit, I like to use it at about 6,000 to 8,000 RPMs. So with this client, I'm at about 6,000. She doesn't really have tough cuticle. So I encourage you when you're doing prep to swing the client's finger down and around to make sure you're more comfortable. You can get to these tight places. If you're right-handed, the right side of the nail is going to be the more difficult side for you to kind of get to. So make sure you're bending your wrist and bending the client's hand. So we're going to want to bend the wrist when we do that. So bend that wrist and come around. Now we're gonna wanna make sure that that bit is nice and flush with the natural nail. We don't wanna come at a high angle. So we wanna be more flush with the natural nail. So let's not come at it high. We don't want to create rings, so we don't want to be high on the nail. We want to be lower and more flush. So as we come around, let's be more flush. Come down that sidewall. And then with this bit, you can go over the entirety of the nail and just do a light buff to remove shine. And this just kind of starts prep off for me. I usually like to start even if we're doing a refill. I just like to start with that cutie patootie bit. So now I like to go in with the itty bitty. I love, love, love this bit. Boom, let's see. It's very narrow. It's great to get in the crevices of the sidewalls, around the cuticle area. I like to go in and kind of get just a little bit up under, kind of lift that skin up a little bit just to make sure we're cleaning. We want our application to be nice and close with our enhancement. We want to get as close as possible to the live skin without touching. So in order to do that, we have to make sure that we are cleaning that dead skin all from this, not only the surface of the nail plate, but in those kind of canals and in that sidewalls and back in this area. Now, me, I'm a little unique with this. Yes, she does. They say you have beautiful hands.
Thank you. They're Ashley, thank you.
So I'm a little unique with this. I like to, and this is a tip, this is why we're here today. I like to use this bit in reverse. I like to use it in reverse. So, let me flip that. So as a right-handed person, we're gonna come from the left side of the nail over to the right. So if you're a left-handed person, this is gonna be the opposite. So this way, we're able to swing that bit around a little bit easier. So try this out. If you're a right-handed person, you can definitely go in both directions. And a lot of times I do go from left to right side of the nail and right to left. But try this out because I find that you're able to get into these type of areas a little better, especially on this side of the nail. Yeah, try reverse. Really is. It is going to change things for you in your prep. So with this bit, we want to keep this really flush to the natural nail as well. So keep this flush. We don't want a high angle. We want to keep it flush and move around the nail. Now, in order to keep it flush at the sidewalls, you're going to have to bring the bit up, but still flush with the natural nail. So keep that in mind. So it looks like I'm at a high angle, but I'm not. Like I said, we're keeping it nice and flush. And I'm coming around. Like I said, I just find that doing this in reverse, especially to start off this type of prep and getting into the detail of it, is much easier in that reverse. Like I said, if you're left-handed, it will be the opposite. So I like to dust very often just to kind of check and see so we can determine what is and isn't remaining on the nail. So we're able just to kind of point this out. You see, we have some dead skin in here still, a little bit around here. I'm not too mad at the actual cuticle area, how much is left, but a little. I'm just using this as my pointer tool. So you can see I'm just coming down that right side just to kind of work in this area. Like I said, it's kind of easier to swing over and still keeping in mind with turning the client's hand and making sure you're able to access that area how you need to. So you can see I'm just swinging that around and down. So you can see I'm kind of lifting up the angle of her finger. I want to make sure I'm getting that dead skin up under. Now we're not trying to harm the client, damage in any way. We're just slightly getting under that skin. Everybody's anatomy is going to be slightly different. Now, some people they're going to have a little more excess skin. She doesn't have a lot of actual dead skin on her eponychium, on her live skin. And over here. So we're not going to have to buff much on her live skin. So I am at 7,000 RPMs. Again, I stay usually in between 6 and 8,000. Sometimes I kick it into 9,000 if we have a client with very tough, more coarse skin. So, and you can kind of see that I'm coming at a slight angle as well. So be comfortable with manipulating this, using this bit, get comfortable with the direction of the bit and how you can use it. So I was saying, when we're going in reverse, we're able to work the cuticle area this direction. That means we're able to exfoliate skin this direction. Now, the skin can grow, that dead skin can grow in a variety of ways. So it may be beneficial to work both in forward and in reverse, no matter if you're left-handed or right-handed. So I'm just at this slight angle. So I'm coming from left to right, but you see my eFiles is kind of at this angle as I'm moving over. So it's not straight on and me moving around. I'm at this angle and I'm moving around. I find that that can be more productive at times as far as exfoliating of that dead skin, especially where the live skin and the nail plate kind of meet. So we can flip this. I'm going to put this in reverse and I'm going to dust. Like I said, I like to dust often just to kind of see where we're at in the status of the nail and the nail plate. So now I'm in forward. So I'm going to go from the right side of the nail around to the left. So I'm going to go in there. Like I said, it's a little more difficult to get to that right side. Sorry. It's a little more difficult to get to that right side as a right-handed person, and it's the same, the left-hand side as a left-handed person. So again, when I come over here, it's a little more difficult to get this bit into that sidewall and for it to work as well, for lack of a better term. So if you don't leave with anything today, if you don't already, with your prep and these bits, try working in both directions, because you can see now I'm able to kind of produce more dead skin and get it removed over here. And I'm just hitting this at a different angle. And you can see kind of the same with this bit. I'll use it at an angle instead of straight on with the nail, bring it around, kind of turning it at a slight angle and bring it around. And there's just something about just the way the grit is rotating and kind of hitting it at that angle. Again, it's able to exfoliate that skin in that area in between the live skin and the nail plate a little more easier. So try that as well. So let's dust. And so where we're at now, I think we're in a relatively good place. I want to go back in reverse another time just to kind of just pass through here. We don't want to create any rings. We don't want to get too deep into our nail or anything like that. Like I said, we want to make sure we have it all nice and clean and we can get a really good close application. Yeah, make sure you are using your eFile at a good speed, because like I said, it can be counterproductive if you're not at an appropriate speed. So next, one of my favorite bits. Like I said, this client doesn't have a lot of dead skin. This bit is absolutely great to buff that dead skin. I wouldn't use this as prep for the actual nail plate at all. But to get any callous, rough, hanging skin, like I said, this client doesn't have much, but we can take and pull back these sidewalls. I also urge you to manipulate your client's finger, move their skin back so you can get into these tight areas and in these crevices and everything like that. So I'm going in reverse with this bit as well. Again, I do a lot of my prep in reverse. So I'm just working over here, and I may go back with the itty bitty just to, oh, let me get you to kind of move back. Perfect. Sorry, guys. Let me see if, oh, I can zoom in. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, so we're in reverse. And we're gonna come around. And you can see, hopefully, that the little bit of dead skin and kind of callus, I wouldn't say callus, but I mean kind of, that she has right here at that live skin, where it begins, we're able to exfoliate that and smooth that out. So I'm using this bit at 7,000 RPMs. And I'm just coming around, and I'm being very intentional with how I am using and how I'm laying this bit on her live skin. Make sure you're able to see, this is a very practical thing, but when you're working, make sure you're able to see the actual client's nail, that you're not working like 4 feet away. If you need a magnifying glass, get one. Make sure, you know, you're sitting properly and everything like that, but make sure you can see close enough. Again, it's just a small little thing, but sometimes people don't think of that. Like, make sure you can see close up these fine details so we can make these little fine movements, because we're working, you know, with just millimeters of distance on such a small surface. So make sure you can see close up. If you need assistance, you know, get it. Like I said, a magnifying glass, some readers, whatever you need. You just need to drop down and get closer to the client. That's usually what I do. I'm a little bit taller, so I usually have to drop my seat down so I don't have to bend my neck down as much. But I'm being very careful and mindful just to touch this skin. I'm kind of dancing on it just with a light touch. Be very light-handed and kind of graze over that surface. Like I said, this client doesn't have much dead skin, but you can see, hopefully, the little that she does is being smoothed out and is looking better. And especially if we apply, you know, cuticle oil once we finish the service and everything, it's just gonna be beautiful. So she does have a little more callus area over here. So again, we can work in both directions. I'll flip this to forward, and we'll come down this side. So like I said, really being in tune with the directions of, you know, that you can work with your bit. When we're in forward, we can go from up the nail down when our bit is at this angle. We're in forward, we go from the right side of the nail to the left. And when we're in forward, if we hold the bit straight on, we can trim the nails down from the left to the right. And all that's opposite if we flip direction. So being very comfortable and knowledgeable of how to use your eFile in these variety of directions, I think will help you kind of take advantage of doing prep and able to get a better prep with your client. So again, I'm just pulling that skin back, and I'm keeping a lighter touch. This shouldn't really be uncomfortable to the client at all. You don't want to press hard. You don't want to stay too long in one place. Again, I'm being very mindful, trying not to touch the nail. You can have a light touch on the nail surface. So sometimes if we get a client that has excess dead hanging skin, we can go in, and this is what I usually do, go in reverse and kind of start at the nail plate, but not a hard touch, but kind of come from underneath and in reverse and flip that skin up and come around again. You can see kind of the angle I'm at, and we can go around and flip that skin up. Again, we're not trying to lay that bit on the nail surface. If we have a light touch, we're not going to damage it. We don't have to really worry about a ring, but we can come from this way and kind of flip that skin up. And then when we flip that skin up, we're able to clip any dead skin with nippers if that's what we need to do. Let me see. I'm trying to get focus a little better. Let's see. Yes, oh my goodness. Yeah, so I said that callus skin that we get around here, if you get somebody who has like a long hyponychium up under here, you can lightly, we don't want to press and over manipulate it, but if they do, you can come through and buff this area as well. And it's just great, like, for, as somebody said, like polishing that skin. But you see, I feel like we're in a pretty good place. I'm gonna go back in with that itty bitty bit and kind of make sure that that is as clean as I want it. And that's what I generally do. So I don't want y'all to think that I'm doing something inordinary, and out of the way, out of the norm. It's something I would usually do after I go in and buff the skin and do any clipping. I'll dust and check back in and see if I need to get any excess skin off, any excess, cuticle. So I'm gonna come around. I'm trying to get this to focus, guys. I'm sorry. It's like focused down here, but when I bring it up, it's not. I'm sorry. So I'm trying to come around this right side. If you can see just this little bit, this little excess around here. So I'm gonna bring that bit around and kind of pulling this skin back in order to expose that a little more so I can fit this bit more better. Again, making sure I'm flush to the nail surface and not digging like deep into that side wall, but moving that skin back so we can get in there. So I'm trying to get focused. So I can go in this side. I'm gonna go in forward as well. Again, I feel like in reverse, I'm not able to get this area how I wanna get it right now. And so I'm gonna swing this around, pulling that skin back and applying the pressure on the nail plate, but we're not pushing really deep into that side wall. We're leaving that bit resting on the nail plate, just moving that skin back. And this is one of the few bits you can lay vertically in the sidewalls and it'll actually do something just because of how skinny and narrow it is. So some cuticle prep bits, the thicker ones, sometimes the shorter ones, you can't really lay them in that area and for them to be productive and not kind of throw things out of whack. So you can come down vertically, and if you want to come down vertically on the left side, you'll be in forward, and on the right side, you'll be in reverse. There we go. Okay, so as far as the actual dead skin on the surface of the nail, I feel like we're good. This is not, and it may be hard to see, this is not a overgrowth of like dead skin in here. So I'm feeling really good about this. We're able to get the product nice and close without touching and not having any exposure to any skin on the surface of the nail plate. Now, you can go over the entirety of the nail with the shaper bit. If, they have a, you want to remove shine. I went in with the Cutie Patootie and did that. But you can kind of use the shaper as well if you want, especially if you have somebody mentioned they have a client with like concrete cuticles. Sometimes that dead skin can be very, very hard to remove. So as an alternate or in addition to, you can start off prep with the shaper bit. It's a nice safety bit. It's not going to have that same exfoliation of the live skin because it doesn't have the burrs on top. This does, if you can see, sorry. So this does, but nonetheless, this can be very effective at removing any tough skin on the nail plate. We'd use this still similar speed, 6,000 to 8,000 RPMs. So yeah, this is a great bit. This type of bit, this is, I always like to call it like, you know, if you're stuck on a deserted island and you want to do nail things, what bit would you bring? And this is it. We can do a lot with this bit. So it's a fantastic bit to have with prep, with finish filing, with refining, you know, the shape. If you have somebody that has a curved, like longer natural nails, it'll be hard to file them straight with our hand file. So if they want to retain that curve, we can go in with the shaper bit as well and work in that curve. So if we're looking at the profile of the nail and it's curved down, we can take this bit and go in that area. That way we're able to have a clean sidewall area and free edge area, but we can fit that curve. So next, I feel her prep is pretty good. I do like to, in the max, everybody has their opinion, the max I'll go as far as hand file is 180 on the surface, and just lightly, sometimes I like to lightly come and add some additional etching to that surface. But we don't want to press hard or anything, and you never want to etch the surface with anything you can't buff out. That's how I've lived by it. So we don't want to add any type of damage, light touch, but that adds just more roughness on that surface, especially if you have a client that may be new, you're not familiar with how their nails wear, and you just want a little extra layer of, you know, reassurance just to give a nice rough surface. But again, we're not going in, you know, I wouldn't go in with 100 grit, 80, anything like that. You can go 180, 240. Probably don't want to go any less than that. Then you'll start buffing it too smooth, and we don't want that. So now we can take our Pro Wipe and some Pro Cleanser, wipe that nail off. You can also take like a cuticle brush as well. Wipe this nail off, and that's going to go ahead, cleanse the dust, but also dehydrate the nail. I like to, generally when the clients come, either spray alcohol, or you can use Pro Cleanser to wipe the nail. And I usually like to wipe a little bit up. Sometimes some clients like to come in with lotion and think they're doing us a favor, and we don't want that. So it's something to keep in mind, because you can track, you know, if you're holding the client's hand up here and they have moisturizer on their hands, and it's not, you know, fully handled or washed off, you know, you want to be mindful of you touching the client's nail plate if you're like putting on forms or tips or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. So this is where we're at. How beautiful. So I'm gonna take this down just a little bit, because we're not only doing prep here, we're doing a little bit of an overlay situation. So I just wanna kind of show you guys any tips, tricks I have. So I'm taking down her natural nail just to kind of even it out with the rest. And we're gonna go with a more natural shape. So I don't really like to, does it qualify as like a squoval? I just like to call it natural shape. You know, just how they would grow out if we didn't manipulate them. So we brought that down. Of course, I use my perfect file. Yeah, the LE bits will work with a variety. So let's kind of dust and cleanse. Okay. So next I'm gonna go into my actual prep products. So the nail is dehydrating now. Well, that sounds bad. Our Pro Cleanser is gonna be used as a dehydrator. So that's currently taking place. So I'm gonna use Air Bond with this client along with tack. Air Bond is absolutely fantastic to keep around. I always like to tell people just keep it around. It is a really cool product that uses moisture for good, what used to be evil for us. So it uses the moisture in the air to cure. And so we let that dry for about 10 to 15 seconds. Yes, I love Air Bond and tack together. Yeah, see, thank you. I like to call it a natural shape because exactly what you said, it mirrors kind of the cuticle area. So we let that air dry. We're gonna go in with tack. You guys, this is a must. And since you've made it this far with me, the discount code I have for you guys is SPRING20, 20% off. So it's a great time to get all these fabulous things. So we're gonna go in with tack. And I like to move the skin back. Now out the way, make sure tack is everywhere we want to be. We want it to be like Visa. So everywhere that we think we're gonna want our gel, our polish, our enhancement of whatever it may be, we wanna make sure our tack covers that and maybe a little beyond. So be very mindful with tack. I see some people go through and they'll just kind of casually just, no, be very intentional with tack. All right, let me get you to put that in the light. So that cures for 30 seconds. Yay, Joy, I love that. Yes, that's a screenshot testimony. I love that. Yes, you can use Air Bond and tack with Jimmy Gel. Yeah, and sometimes if you want to be very, efficient, make sure that use that light line. And I'm looking, you guys can't tell, but I'm looking from the right side of her nail, like literally from over here, and from switching it to the left and making sure, I know it's kind of blurry, I'm sorry guys, making sure you can see that that tack is shiny and on even these small little areas. So like I said, just being very, very intentional with tack. So today I thought I would kick it old school. I said that. But with Cosmetic Pink Builder. I'm sorry, it's not. There we go. Because I just love it. And I want to show you guys just a quick demo. Okay, so I have my gel polish brush. And we're going to go in and apply a thin layer. Let's see, let me make sure. So we're doing a thin layer and getting it as close as possible. Without touching. So I want to do, let me show you guys a quick little overlay. Yes, Spring 20 is the code. We're going to use my favorite glitter gel. So I want to do just a little bitty glitter ombre right here. So with Cosmetic Builder, I like to kind of agitate it a little bit on the nail when I get it on there. Not too aggressively because we don't want to create air bubbles, but if we do that, we'll kind of loosen up the product and it'll be easier to manipulate. So I put this bead a little bit of a distance away from the cuticle area and I'm just kind of pushing that product up. So we started with a slip layer. And that's a layer we leave wet and it helps tell our bigger bead where to go and where not to go. So I'm just gently, you can see, we're here in real time, you can see I'm moving this kind of slowly across the nail. Like I said, we're gonna do a little glitter ombre. A lot of people limit short nails and like, oh, we can just do plain one solid color, and you don't really have to at all. So since we're doing an ombre, we're going to start to fade that out. So I would wipe the excess off the brush of that product, and we don't want to leave a harsh line. You can see right through here. We don't want to leave that harsh line, so we're just going to feather that out. Or you can leave it thin down here if you want this color to kind of be the base of the ombre, but we don't want it thick where we're going to apply our glitter at. So we can leave it nice and thin. And really we only want to, when we're doing something like this, we really want to build up the nail bed only until the color we want is achieved, or the coverage rather. Okay, let me get you to put that in the light, please. So I have her in the light, and she's on low heat mode, so hopefully it don't get too hot for her. So next I'm gonna go in with Be in Your Bonnet, and this is one of my favorite, most versatile glitters. I definitely recommend. This is the glitter I've gone through the most. I think this is my third or fourth Be in Your Bonnet in my light elegance in our relationship time. Yes, glitter on short nails is underrated. I think it's fantastic. And on your toes, ooh, I got a little hanky piece. On the toes as well, you guys. Yes, definitely. Okay, let me see this here. Thank you. Okay, so now we'll go in and do this ombre real quick, and it happens fast. So we'll just apply more product at the tip or where we want to start our ombre. This can be at the cuticle down or the tip up. So apply that product, and then we're gonna take and kind of pull it up. With our glitter ombres, what we're generally looking for is a concentration of glitter on one end and dissipating to less glitter as we move across the nail. So we have more glitter here and we have less pieces here, to the point that you may want to literally manipulate single pieces of glitters once we get through here. And try not to have like a straight line, like all the glitters end in one spot. That's gonna look more unnatural. And try to make sure, like I said, you go from more glitter to less glitter. So I generally like to do 2 coats when I do an ombre, just to build up, again, that concentration of glitter at the tip. All right, let me get you to put that in the light. So we have her again on low heat mode. And we're gonna get her a nice flash cure. Then next I'm gonna go in with Cool Gel. I know this is blurry. We're gonna go in with Cool Gel just to encapsulate. All right, let me see. So we'll do a quick little touch up here. Like I said, just kind of reinforcing that concentration of glitter. At that tip. So make sure we have it spread out. Okay, put that back in the light for me. Thank you guys. Yeah, try fading your base or your nail bed color first. You know, it's a great nail bed color. It's not full coverage, but it gives a fantastic look. Is natural pink. I like natural pink Cool Gel. Use that as a nail bed color. Like I said, it'll be beautiful. So now we can take and encapsulate this. So we're going to apply a slip layer again. And this is going to be a nice thin layer. Please don't underestimate or overestimate, I don't know the correct verbiage, how thin this should be. Let's make sure we have any loose glitters removed. And then we can take our bigger bead and encapsulate this blend because we need to protect it for finish filing. Now with finish filing, I generally like to go in with the shaper bit. So you can see I'm just floating this bead on the surface, and I'm primarily manipulating it through the center of the nail and then going to get over to the sides. And that'll kind of help with risk of flooding and things like that. So like I said, worked it through the middle and now kind of perfecting it in these type of areas. Looking at the nail from all angles, making sure we have a nice little apex. We don't need a big one. We have a short nail. All right, let me get you to put that in the light. So you get her into the light with a cure, and then past that, we can go back in. I don't want to run over time. I like to go back in with my perfect file and then my shaper bit. Let me see, ma'am. So this is what we have. Look at that. How beautiful is bee in your bonnet? Like I said, just to finish this off, perfect file just to refine the shape, remove any bulk through here. We don't have much. And this going in with that shaper bit just to kind of finish that off. And the cool gel levels perfectly, so we don't even have to worry about much finish filing. And hopefully you can see kind of the light line on here. So we have minor little divots. But this, you know, like I said, this would just be more refined with filing and shaping. But this isn't far off from what our final look. Yeah, bee in your bonnet, definitely check that out. Check out everything, of course. You guys, I'm sorry I didn't get to finish this to the end. I had such a good time showing you guys prep and everything. And hopefully you can use these tips and tricks to take your prep to the next level. Go ahead and try to use that bit in different directions. Be mindful of the angle, manipulating your clients' angles and everything like that. So I appreciate you for watching. Spring 20 is the code. Take advantage. Get your tack, your Air Bond, Cosmetic Pink, and definitely, first and foremost, get bee in your bonnet. But all your Z bits, with these bits, like that, it doesn't have to be more difficult than this. We don't need a super crazy variety of things. This may be a nipper. And, you know, you can have beautiful, great prep. These are all the bits you need. I use these bits often, just these, and have great results with them. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I had a lot of fun. And like I said, I really hope I left you with something you can apply in your day-to-day to make your day a little easier. Thank you for watching, guys.